I'll probably give up on the franchise. I've been huffing copium for years now, but IDW stuff getting a major role in a proper non-gacha game will be it. I'll have to accept that the franchise I grew up with is dead and gone and never coming back. They added 2 comic book characters to a Sonic racing game, bro. What's popping my pimples? Welcome back to Wallace Probably. Tangle and Whisper occupy a pretty interesting space in the Sonic franchise. They've been around for close to a decade at this point. You could show just about any modern Sonic fan a picture of the two, and they know who they are, but they also don't know who they are, you know? Look, what I'm trying to say is, these characters have been stuck in the comics, pretty much the black sheep in the franchise that hardly gets acknowledged by Sega, and honestly didn't for decades on end. However, in the past few years, that has started to change. A once easy to ignore part of the series has begun to intermingle with its other sectors. First, you had Tangle and Whisper, alongside other comic book characters, make appearances in the Sonic mobile games, such as Sonic Forces Speed Battle. Then they started appearing in the officially licensed Sonic Speed Simulator game on Roblox. And finally, they've made their way to a proper console-released Sonic game. On top of all this, Tangle and Whisper have been given official voice actresses who have voiced the characters in a couple social media videos. But who are these characters, really? As somebody who still hasn't read the comics since the early 2010s, though I do plan to change that pretty soon here, I didn't really know what to make of these two outside of their designs. But it's because of these recent crossovers, I've been able to get a much better read on these two. Tangle is an energetic lemur with a strong bushy tail that she uses to fight with. She kind of feels like that meme where the autistic person finds somebody who's like 1% more autistic and they just hate them. Tangle is that 1% more autistic person in this case. Then you got Whisper, a quiet wolf who is able to use wisps to her advantage thanks to her wisp gun thing. I think her and Tangle balance each other out great, and I get why there's so much artwork of these two kissing. So why is it that these veteran Sonic characters are causing these types of reactions? I have not watched the Chaotix case files. I have not bought or played Sonic Crossworlds. I no longer watch TalesTube. I canceled my IDW subscription years ago. I do not like this direction for the Sonic franchise, so I shan't engage. Simple as. Shan't engage, what the hell? As well as these types of reactions. They're very probably going further with the inclusion of IDW, so better to get off the franchise as I did, LOL. Well, as somebody who's been around the community to have seen the start of this new run of comics, I have a few theories that I want to share with you that's causing this type of outrage. But before I do, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on Tangle and Whisper being in Sonic Crossworlds. Theory number 1, Archie versus IDW. As I mentioned earlier, Sega had ignored the Sonic comics for decades prior, and they still kinda do. Before 2018, when IDW started making Sonic comics, the comics were handled by Archie. The incredible thing about the Archie comics is just how long they went on for. Alongside the universe they built, these comics got their start in 1993 and ended in 2016. You see, before Sonic Adventure, Sonic had its own universes in America and Japan, until the Japanese universe took over and wiped out the American one, mostly. You see, the American universe alongside its characters were solely kept alive through these comics. And with the comics going on for so long, you can imagine the passionate fan base behind it. As well, you can imagine how difficult it was to lose this one last sector of some of these people's childhood after it was abruptly ended, mostly due to a lawsuit. You can also imagine how frustrating it is to these fans for this new comic to get Sega's attention while the comics prior that they grew up with for decades were completely ignored. Now, there's a few reasons behind this change towards the comics. With Archie ending due to a lawsuit around one of the artists, Sega would be more involved than ever in overseeing the comics and guiding their direction. As well, while Japan never got the Archie Sonic comics, the IDW comics have been slowly making their way overseas and reaching this audience. This has led Sega to be more open on these characters and their universe's involvement in the franchise. Plus, from its inception, IDW's Sonic comics were made to be canon with the games, and thus they are much more careful about how they're handled. Meanwhile, Archie was known for being super unhinged, and that's just putting it lightly. So I think Archie fans are bitter towards IDW replacing their series and getting the attention that they've been desiring for so long. And you know what? I totally get that. As much as I like to bully Archie fans because admittedly they can be kind of annoying, I would genuinely love to see some of these characters make an appearance in any form of official Sonic media. And for a moment, it did look like we were finally gonna get that after some sort of data leak in a Sonic mobile game that had Sally Acorn as one of the characters to be added. But honestly, I don't see that becoming a thing. And as more time goes by, I think these characters are never going to see the light of day again. Theory 2, IDW is woke? See, quite a few of the series writers and artists are openly queer, whether they be trans, non-binary, or a fan of Silver the Hedgehog. Some right-wing Sonic fans have a problem with that, even going to such lengths as harassing these people on Twitter. That's cringe as hell, and I hope if you're doing that, that you grow out of that behavior. Any arguments about this affecting the writing or the universe are just beyond me, as again, I've yet to engage with the comics. But seeing how openly supportive Sega has been of the LGBT plus community, I don't think you're gonna find anything that crazy in the comics that wouldn't be in the games. Again, Sega is overseeing it. I don't think because of IDW we're gonna get gay porn in the Sonic universe anytime soon. Unfortunate, I know. Theory 3, Sonic fans hate change. Since the series' inception, there's never really been one form of Sonic. While Mario, for example, has been pretty consistent in how he's portrayed and having one canon the franchise sticks to, for the most part. We're gonna ignore the Deke cartoon. Sonic is like an ice cream parlor. There are so many different flavors that everybody has their own personal preference on what they like about Sonic. And some people simply don't like IDW's universe, whether it be the characters and their designs, to the stories that it tells and how certain characters are written. Any complaints about Shadow the Hedgehog, those are Sega's fault. I know that's for sure. But these personal preferences just come with being a Sonic fan, because a lot of people got into it from different ways, and that's gonna continue, whether it be the movies, games, comics, the aforementioned homoerotic Sonic fan works. Why am I so on this today? As somebody who's only recently gotten to know Tangle and Whisper, I love these characters. Hearing them interact with the Chaotix and the Chaotix case files, something I plan to talk about once it's finished, by the way, they fit right in with the rest of the cast. And I can't wait to see what else they bring to the franchise going forward. It also makes you want to go back and experience what it was that they already brought to the comics. All around, I think Sega's been doing a great job easing this universe into different parts of the franchise. Will it take over the games? No, but I can see it playing a bigger part than what fans are used to. And for now, we should all keep an open mind for what's to come. But I want to know, what do you think about Tangle and Whisper's inclusion into Crossworlds? And what do you think about Sega embracing the IDW comics more? Let me know in the comments below. Shout out my patrons and okay, bye!